I got Arthem here with me on Discord, so we're gonna start the interview that I promised and I'll advertise a little bit. So first of all, I would like to thank you all for being here for this. Just need to sort one small setting. There we go, that's done. Right, so Arthem, we are live on the stream now, so anything you say goes out there to the people. Let me just thank you for coming, being the first guest in the series of interviews I was planning to do.
Thanks, man.
I know you said that it's like 1 o'clock after midnight in your country, so I don't want to delay you too much. So I'll get right into it. This is my first time.
It's your first time?
Yeah, the first time I'm like doing an interview from someone. Okay, Haltra, I got the music a bit down for you. I'll turn the Discord a bit up. Maybe you can't hear Arthem properly, so we'll fix all that.
Yeah, if I need to speak up, I can.
No, that's okay. I just turned the Discord a bit up and did the music down. You know, it's nice that we have people that actually tell us how to like regulate this, so it's a pleasurable experience for everybody. I'm gonna queue myself for scenarios so people have something to watch as well. So let me ask you this first question. From what I know, you play Shadow Warrior, right?
Yeah.
How come you picked that one over, you know, all the other classes?
Well, it started off, I was playing it as an alt class because I started Warhammer as a Swordmaster. And all my friends were leveling slow, so I just started playing a Shadow Warrior as an alt to have something to do while they caught up. But then they didn't really catch up to me. They all quit, went back to WoW to Burning Crusade, and I was actually enjoying the Shadow Warrior so much that I just stuck with it. I was a warrior in WoW, and the stances reminded me of the warrior in WoW. So, and the fact that you could do both range and melee really appealed to me, so I stuck with it for that reason, pretty much.
That's cool. Do you play?
Yeah, I wanted to have a bow as well. The bow.
Yeah, yeah. It's like me that people say, "Why don't you play Magus? It's like a mirror class." I'm like, but he doesn't have a gun.
Yeah.
You know. So do you play Destro as well, or do you just play Order?
Yeah, I played Distro as well. Back on live, I was a Shadow Warrior for maybe about 9 months, and then for the first time, I made a Witch Elf on the server, the same server that I was playing on. And that was my first distro tune. So back then there was a bit of realm pride, so it was a bit cheeky to do. I was one of the first ex-realmers on my server. And yeah, from there on I just played a whole bunch of distro tunes and order tunes going forward from there. But yeah, Witch Elf was my first distro alt.
Yeah, mine too actually. I was playing some real life friends, and they all wanted to play Destro side, so I've played that. They told me, you need to play this, we need this, so I went for that. And how did you get in? How did you get into streaming? You know, what got you into all that?
So, the funny thing is, like, I was watching a couple of YouTube guys, and they were playing. They started to stream PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, PUBG.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time, like, I think Twitch was not that big, but with that game, it kind of blew up. PUBG streaming, like the Battle Royale. I think I mean, people used to watch Twitch, but the Battle Royale like kind of launched it into another dimension. And now with Fortnite, we're seeing that too. But yeah, I just followed this guy from YouTube over to Twitch, and he was streaming PUBG, and I didn't even know that there was a Warhammer Online crowd at the time. I mean, I think back then Dalgary and Neutrino were streaming, but they were kind of the only ones that I knew of. But yeah, I didn't watch Warhammer back then. I was mostly watching PUBG, and it just got the idea in my head, and then I just went from there.
Yeah, because now, from what I can tell, you know, I'm trying to see all the people that are streaming, so I can ask them if they want to come into the channel for a small interview like we're doing now. And it's like, I think there's more like 15 or 20 people streaming Warhammer Online right now. And and the funny thing is, I still get people sometimes to tell me, you know, I didn't know this game exists, whether it's on YouTube or that. And I find interesting how people really want to play it and they don't know it's out there. So it's a good thing we have so many streamers to actually show the game and what it became, because I think it's a lot better than it was on live as far as bugs and other things go. Do you think that's true?
Yeah, I think it is better than live, because we've got back on live, we didn't get patches every week, that's for sure. There used to be a lot of developer notes back on live. However, like 2 years into the project, it was cut back a lot. They started focusing on other things, such like when BioWare took the game, they were focusing heavily on Mass Effect, building Mass Effect, that game, which was a great game, but they kind of neglected Warhammer Online. But these guys here, they're fans of the game, they're part of the community, they're not getting paid to do it, and they're putting in their own time, and we're getting patches every week. It's way more, it's just way more developer activity on this game.
Well,
they might even be more qualified than on live as well at this stage.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, maybe the guys on live, you know, they didn't pay much attention. They knew the game was gonna close. So, you know, if you know something is gonna die, you don't put your best into it, so to speak. So how do you?
Yeah, that's what I think happens.
How do you feel about because there's been a lot of discussion today, especially today, about the fortresses. How do you feel about those? Because there's a lot of people that complain, you know, they go in, they can win it. I mean, I was in one right now. I don't know if you're watching. And apparently we are like 65 order, 65 destro. And with the Lord on top of that, it's pretty much impossible to do it. I mean, I would suggest to people, you know, be patient. I mean, do you have an opinion on that? Do you? Because
yeah, I mean, the forts are so exciting. It's a huge part of the game, and especially the Invader gear too. But it's just a really fun experience. The forts are just so big, they're just completely different to what we're used to. And the developers have also added in a few new elements as well, which is really cool. I just think they need to sort out the bugs and whatnot, because it is annoying some people. It's not so much that the mechanics of the Lord is too powerful. It's just that sometimes the doors don't even open, or the ram doesn't spawn. Just little bugs like that. If they can sort that out, fix that up, maybe they should revert back before it was implemented and just fix everything and then bring it back out.
Yeah,
but
somebody else was saying that as well. That you know, they brought it out, but they haven't tested it properly. They should take it back and redo it.
But at the same time, we have to remember that we're kind of an alpha game, and we're kind of testing the game for them too. So that's part of the experience, I guess.
Yeah, I agree with you. So, did you play anything else except your Shadow Warrior? Because I think I saw you playing a lion the other day.
Oh yeah, at the moment on live, I'm currently playing a Shadow Warrior. It's 78, a white lion, which is about renown rank 52. It's got the subjugator axe. It's got 2-piece Genesis, and because they lowered the prices of Conqueror yesterday. I don't know if you know that, but
yeah, they did.
Conqueror,
not only they brought it down, they brought it down a lot.
Yeah, about 40%, right?
Yeah.
So I managed to get a few Conqueror on it too.
It kind of feels like I was cheated, you know, because I was buying. I got 2 oppressor sets. And I got 4 single-handed weapons. That's like 6,000-7,000 emblems. I'm like, ah.
Did you just buy them recently?
No, I haven't bought them recently. But still, the grind stays the same that I had to do. But I think there was a small revelation there on the line that said about, on the sentence that said about lowering the prices of the Oppressor and the Vanquisher sets, because they said we're lowering them because now we're gonna go into city sieges and the new weapons, the new set's gonna come out. So I think that,
sieges.
Yeah, if you actually read that part, actually let me see if I have the. It's on the launcher. It says it. Just give me a second to find that.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
So I can read the actual sentence there. Contribution. Where is it? Sorry guys, just to find that so we can have that. Right, tier 4 scenario price have been adjusted rather significantly. It was skipped with Oppressor, Vanquisher when they were released, blah blah blah. Significant reduction in cost. We are at the end of open RVR rewards as we move into City Siege rewards.
Oh wow.
So that's on the release. I don't know if people caught that line there. That actually, I think that's like a preview. Like, guys, we're going to see the CG soon. New gear coming out, new weapons coming out. So that's why they reduced the prices. I think they want us to be like fully geared when they start. So I think it's going to be a challenge for them. And that's like a scoop of the day, so to speak.
Yeah, exactly.
So do you stream, like, do you have like a schedule on your thing that people want to find and watch you stream? Do you have a specific date? There's a schedule for you on your channel?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I stream every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then I also try to stream a little bit more on the weekends. I mean, I'm trying to stream as much as possible, but I do have a schedule. It's the same time every day. I never stream at hours where I'm not supposed, like in off hours, for example.
Yeah.
I always stream at the same time. So if I do stream, I always stream at the same time. So that's, I mean, for my time, it starts at 10:30 p.m.
Yeah. No, that's good. I mean,
Yeah.
being consistent, I think it's good. It's something I need to apply to my stream, because I was meant to start at my country 3 o'clock and then have you on 4 o'clock. But it just happened that my wife had to go somewhere, so I started streaming like 4 hours earlier.
Oh yeah, that's fair enough.
Yeah, you know, if she's not here, I can do that a little bit more, you know, a bit more. So I like streaming. Got people on it.
Yeah, I think you got to try to keep a schedule for the viewers, so that they know when to expect you.
Yeah, definitely. I'm just so excited. I'm so new to streaming, and I really enjoy it. So I gotta get excited when I have time. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna start 1 hour like a little boy.
Oh yeah, that's how I was when I first started streaming. I was just streaming whenever I could, just to get my feet wet, you know, get used to it.
Yeah,
so that's pretty good at the beginning anyway. But eventually, I think it's good to get a schedule.
Yeah, I have a normal schedule. For mine is like 3 times a week. I try to keep that like 4 hours for 3 times a week. I'm trying to get used to it because I'm gonna start working in a little while, so I need to like get it into small boxes.
Yeah, it's very important because you might not notice, but people will remember when you're supposed to be online. They will remember. So
yeah, that's
I think
good. Oh, that's good advice for.
That's
good advice for other streamers that might be watching, or people that want to start streaming. So do you have any advice for like the one we gave right now for new streamers that want to come into Warhammer Online and start streaming from your experience?
Just be yourself, and watch, but also watch some guides on YouTube about how to fill the silence, because that's very important. You don't want to be silent too much. The other thing is be consistent with your schedule, so don't be all over the place like we just said. And if you can manage it to get a webcam, because that's pretty good too. But it just depends on your internet at that point, because you want to be able to upload the good quality, and sometimes the webcam can affect that quality.
Yeah, definitely. I have that problem.
Yeah, but not everyone needs a webcam. I'm not saying you needed a webcam, but the most important thing I would say is just the schedule, being consistent for your viewers, and just interacting with them as much as possible.
So let me ask you this. Oh crap, I forgot the question. No, sorry, what I wanted to say was, because I'm also playing it. This came out of a scenario, and what I wanted to actually tell the viewers right now is, if you guys have any questions you want to ask Arthem about any reasonable topic, feel free to just type it on the chat, and I will transfer it to him to answer that to you. Oh, come on, what's... Oh, bloody Destro. I'm doing an interview, guys. Let me hear. Don't attack me.
Are you doing, I thought you were at the fort. Is that over?
No, fort. No, it's not. I don't know if it's over. I think it's not over because scenarios are on. But right. Yeah, what happened was it was impossible to actually win it. There are a lot of people left, and I didn't see the point of me just sitting there and you know, just waiting for 4 emblems that... Oh, the guys are telling me on the chat that fort ended. Gravord, Black Rag is back on again. Yes, you were correct at the beginning.
Oh, okay.
There are a few issues there, yeah. So I just left because there was no point. You've been there over an hour and a half. It was time to start having our chat here and everything.
Yeah, definitely. So do you plan on interviewing all the streamers, are you?
Yeah, my idea is, I mean, this is the first one. To be honest with you, I was hoping I can get this to last about an hour, but I'm kind of running out of questions. So I'm relying I'm relying on the viewers right now. My idea of it was that every Sunday or every other Sunday, depending on the schedule, we could have a streamer. I'm trying to compile a list of streamers, like following every one of them. Whether they started yesterday or a year ago, whatever, it doesn't matter. I want to try and give the community the opportunity to meet all the streamers. Because what happens is, right now somebody here's, okay, Arthem, I don't know Arthem. He can like go to Twitch right now, type Arthem, find your stream, and then got a raid right now going on.
You got a raid?
Yes. Nice. It popped, so thank you for the raid. For the guys just showing up, we're interviewing Arthem, our friendly shadow
that's my
warrior.
guild mate, Marconia.
Yeah. We got a question for you from Gravwood here on the chat. Are you coming on next 6v6? And if so, what changes you will make to your team?
Yeah, I'm definitely coming. I really enjoyed the last 6v6. It was probably one of the best experiences I've had since I've come back to Return of Reckoning. And my class in particular is just incredible at 6v6 now in the melee spec, which is the complete opposite of live. So I feel really good about that. I'll be there next time as well. Changes to my team. What I want to do is just, I want to get a Slayer. So right now we don't have a Slayer. So I want to find the Slayer that can play with us, just so, because we can enter 10 players, right? So it doesn't have to be 6.
Yeah.
So what I want to do, so I want to get a couple of my tanks more geared out. So we've actually recruited Marconia, and we've got our own Swordmaster as well. So we're gonna have 2 Swordmasters. I want to get an IB up, but in terms of changes, I do want to make a range comp, and so Zarbix will probably be one of them, and I want to get a Slayer in there too. So the lineup was White Lion, Shadow Warrior, and Swordmaster for the burst, and I guess in terms of my first preference, that will be the 3. But if I want to change it up, I do want to get a Slayer involved as well. So in terms of a Slayer, they kind of work best with 2 Slayers. So it's going to be hard. But a Shadow Warrior Slayer don't really complement each other in the melee spec. A Shadow Warrior and a range Shadow Warrior and a Slayer do, but not so much when they're both melee, because the Slayer is sustained, the Shadow Warrior is burst. So you want to combine 2 bursts or 2 sustained, in my opinion. But yeah, that's the main difference that we're going to go with.
Right. Okay.
But yeah, we'll definitely be there, man.
Yeah, sounds good. There's yeah, Gravwood, I think I just fixed the sound with Arthem going a bit low. Should hear him now properly. The next question from Grunksplay says whether you look forward to the Land of the Dead.
Absolutely. That's the thing that I'm looking forward to the most.
Right, okay.
If we can get Land of the Dead, I'll be delighted. Like,
well, I think we're gonna get it. But I think we're gonna have to wait for a little bit longer for Land of the Dead. I mean, we've got the fortresses, we've got cities, we've got the new sets to come out. Definitely gonna be a few more things that are gonna pop up in the way. Problems and delays.
Yeah, it'll make my life complete if we get Land of the Dead. Because
so it's gonna be like when Land of the Dead comes out. Is it gonna be like Arthem, the PvPer turning Arthem to the PvEer?
Oh yeah, absolutely. People already know me as doing gun battle a lot and whatnot, but yeah, I'll be in Topple every day. That will become my rally point.
Yeah, I did enjoy Land of the Dead on the live myself. Although I didn't have the opportunity to do it a lot, but the little bit that I did, it was fun, definitely fun, and they had some nice gear as well. So
yeah, I mean, we're probably going to get Lost Veil first, right? And Bastion Stair. That's probably going to take,
I think so,
a long time before we get Land of the Dead. although it's already there on the map.
Well, it's always been on the map. It's just that it's never came out.
Yeah, so I guess the dungeons are going to take a lot of work to get working properly. So I'm not expecting it anytime soon, but definitely, absolutely looking forward to it. It's my intro for my stream is pretty much all landed at this stuff.
You mentioned that your class right now in melee spec is doing very well. As far as I remember, it didn't do so well on the live. Do you think that this change for the Shadow Warrior is a good change? I mean, because usually it's considered like a high range DPS but squishy. So are you now like squishy but on melee range, or does it have more survivability when you play melee on that class?
Yeah, I think it's a combination of the DPS on this server not being renowned rank 100 and not being able to blow you up quite as quickly, and also, I guess there's a multiple reasons why it's more survivable. But generally, back on live, the melee Shadow Warrior was pretty good up until about renowned rank 60, but then its survivability dropped. DPS classes, pure DPS melee classes became too strong in comparison, and due to gear and whatnot being more focused towards their class and spec. Even now, Shadow Warrior don't really have a good melee set, but because the gear isn't that big of a factor in this game currently, it's working really well, and of course because of all the buffs that they've done for the Shadow Warrior. So yeah, they've worked really hard on making the Shadow Warrior viable in melee, and it's absolutely incredible right now to play. It's probably the most fun you can have on a Shadow Warrior, to be honest.
No, that's interesting. If you're saying that's the most fun to have, I'm sure a lot of people gonna try it. We have another question from Halta there. It says, would you like a versus 2 versus 2 or 3 versus 3 rated arena system with a terrain similar to WoW's Nagrod arena with pillars? Coming from WoW arena, I think it would increase the competitiveness a lot.
Yeah, I mean that would be really interesting. That will take a lot of work though, so it's not something that I'm expecting to ever happen. I don't know if it would happen, but of course, having played WoW, I've always it's something that I think if you could get it in this game would be amazing, and yeah, I would definitely enjoy that. I don't know how much it would affect the population. I mean, I think we have to grow a little bit more before we can break up the scenarios any more than we already do, because we already break it up into Pug and 6v6. But generally, if we can grow a little bit more, and if developers can figure out a way to do that, that'll be great. But it's just, I think it's going to be a lot of work, that's all.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I know we've been doing like unofficially arenas and duels. Although I have to admit that I was really disappointed when they disabled the duel command in the game. It was great fun. You could duel even order versus order. You could test your builds a little bit better and all that.
That was interesting. Yeah, I wasn't active at the time. I mean, it would be fun to be able to duel your own faction, but
it was great fun. I mean, I was dueling in order to build Fix's defensive build. I was dueling 200 Iron Breakers and Swordmasters. It was massive. Yeah, it was fun. Plus, you get pissed off with a friend of yours, like, come on, bring it. Let's have a duel. Now you don't have that option.
And like in this game though, I'm not a big fan of 1v1, but because I don't think the classes are balanced for it. But I am a fan of like 2v2 and 3v3 for sure. But beyond that, I don't really like to do 1v1.
Yeah, the thing about 1v1 is there's definitely a few more balancing issues on 1v1, I think. But there's also the problem that it's very difficult to get one. There's always in RVR lakes to be someone jumping in, a warband running over you. And the other problem is that when you're fighting a class, you don't really know what you are fighting. And what I mean by that is, you see a Shadow Warrior and you're thinking, okay, he's going to be ranged, going to try and slow me down, he's going to be squeezy, so let's just knock him down and kill him. And then you realize, that's a melee class and just kick my ass. You have that versatility because everyone you meet is different. It's like you go against an engineer, because it's the only class I can really speak about, and you're thinking, okay, sniper, gotta get close, kill him. And then you realize, oh shit, it's Fixer, he's like super tanky. That versatility, I think, it makes the game a lot more interesting. You know, the unpredictability of it. What build this guy is gonna be running.
Yeah, I mean, some classes are built for, like, the whole game is not built around 1v1, and that kind of makes some classes a bit too strong in 1v1 in some senses.
Yeah,
because they've
definitely.
got to be balanced for the group. So yeah, Magus, for example, and NG are really hard to beat 1v1. Most classes will struggle, actually. But then at the same time, their group spec is probably not the first on the list that you're going to pick. But although they do perform well there, but that's just one example, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the reason why I've made the Fixers website and the stream and all that is because I felt that the class is a little bit undervalued in the sense that everybody thinks, okay, you're an NG, you're a sniper, you shoot up in the wall and you just shoot stuff. But there's so much more you can do, and you don't really see NGs, you know, in parties. Very often you see them in warbands, yes, but you don't really see them in parties. I think that people feel they have no functionality. Well, they can be tanky, they can heal, they can pull, they can stagger, they can do AoE knockdowns, AoE punts. It's like, you know, I feel they shouldn't be called ranged DPS, it should be called support class. Like in other games, there's a support class.
Yeah, I mean,
it's like it's like a Swiss knife, NG. That's why I like it. Too many things to do.
Yeah, they are. They can do a bunch of, for example, they're great assist on a range assist train in particular. If you're going to have 2 range DPS,
oh yeah, definitely.
They're fantastic to assist a Shadow Warrior or a Bright Wizard because they've got the signal flare. So, so if you're going to run a 2 range comp, 1 melee, 1 tank, it does work. But
see, the funny thing is, you mentioned signal flare, the tactic. The thing is nobody uses is like the extra ammo tactic that gives action points to everybody. It's not restricted to like the party. So if you have 2 and you stick like 30 feet from the turret, like have 2 NGs with that, you have infinite action points. Nobody actually uses that combo.
All right, do you think that's good?
Yeah, I did Crypt, the city dungeon, the other day. We had 2 NGs and we both were running extra ammo. So we were getting 45 action points every tick. So that's pretty much, I mean, most of your skill is like 35, 45 action points. So it's infinite, as long as you stick next to the turret. And it's something, you know, you can set up somewhere and have like a Bright Wizard with infinite action points. Just keep hammering, or a Shadow Warrior. The only limitation is just your global cooldown after that. There's so many combos you can do.
I think it is fantastic, like in PvE definitely.
Yeah,
it's a really good.
In PvP is a little bit more difficult to control, but in sieges and stuff, you can combine like, you know, the NG with the Shadow Warrior for the range.
Yeah, I already do that in my groups. I group with a couple of engineers, Gamagron and Markon, and yeah, we do exactly that. We do the signal flare. We don't do the AP though. Like
you
in
have
my
to
opinion,
stick
in PvP.
Yeah, you have to stick next to the turret. It's a bit more difficult in open maps, but in sieges, which, you know, you're static, it's a good option to have.
Definitely, man.
Anybody has any other questions for, just a reminder for Arthem here, we're having a small interview for you guys to get to know him. Please feel free to type it on the chat. What else? Go on.
I think NGs definitely have a place, like in any kind of group. That's the good thing about NG right now. They were kind of weak on live, to be honest, but now here they've got a place in warbands, 6-mans, like range comp, that is. 6v6 is probably their weakest, to be honest. I don't think they have any place in a 6v6, to be fair. I think they'll probably get mowed down by melee train.
Now that you're actually mentioning that, I remember I asked you whether, you know, you were playing the White Lion, I think it was last week, and I just said, you know, you should do an NG. You said, oh, never, I'm never going to do an NG. So that actually becomes a good question, like, why not?
Why not? It's just not for me. I already play, like, the DPS in this game are split into support and like pure burst DPS. So you've got your Witch Elf, Witch Hunter, Bright Wizard, Sork. They're pure DPS classes. And maybe you could even say Slayer and Chopper are also that. And then you've got your Marauders, Shadow Warriors, NGs, and Magus as support. They're not pure burst. They can't really carry the damage. So that's why I wouldn't do that, because I've already got a Shadow Warrior, so I don't want to make another support DPS.
All right, okay,
so
that's
if
fair
I was-
enough.
Yeah, that's probably the only reason. And also, they just never appealed to me in the way that the Shadow Warrior appealed.
Yeah, I mean, I did try once to make a Shadow Warrior, to be honest. I got him up to level 34, and then I deleted him.
Oh, really? Why?
Oh yeah, I've deleted like a lot of level 40s.
Oh, okay.
The reason
you
what,
do it.
yeah, what happens is this: I want to try different classes, and I get them up to a certain point. It was really fun leveling, you know, kiting blackguards and stuff like that, just moving around. But it gets to a point where I have too many characters, and because I'm a little bit compulsive, what do you call it? You know, I have to do it. I think it's called compulsive in English.
It is, yeah.
I want to have them like on like top gear, top weapons, top renown, and all that. And I get to a situation where I have to play all the characters, and it means I have to invest a lot of my time into it. You know, play this one and play the next one, and go farm this, go farm that, and so on and so forth. So I get tempted when I have characters on my list. So I play them. Okay, it's fun, but it's not my NG. So delete, stay with the NG. You know, and because I used to play in an old dwarf guild, and now I have my own guild, so people don't bug me with, you know, invites all the time. I also kept it only dwarf, so I have all 4 dwarfs, and that's it.
Oh, right,
You know, if I get, you know, everybody gets bored a little bit of the same class all the time. So if I want to play a little bit of a Slayer, a little bit of a tank, I have them. They're like level 40s, except the Slayer. But that's how far I go. That's it.
But you're really into the dwarf.
Yeah, I like dwarves. I think as far as like on order side, because I have like a few characters on Destro, but I don't play them. I generally play order most of the time, and I focus on fixer. That's why, you know, it took me about 8 months to make fixer's build that people know as defensive build. It took me 8 months and about 6,000 gold and endless hours of, yeah, I sit down with a calculator and I'm doing like, how much do I get when I have 300 initiative? Would be 301 better. I am that detailed on that, so I got the right numbers, because some people would say something like, which is true, I'm about to say, 0% to be critical hit, and then you say, okay, if I take 1 level of futile strike, it goes to -3, right? So you actually, because it's additive, you cap, if you have 30, I make your critical chance 27. And somebody might say, but you know, 3% is no big. Guys, when it comes to critical, 3% is massive. Because but see, why I wasted 6,000 gold? Because I would go like change renown, put it all full anti-critical to like -25, see how many criticals I get, make a table of it, get the percentages, you know, how many hits, blah blah blah, and then bring it down to the number I needed to get it. So you know, I have dwarf. I think the dwarf race is like, I think that Empire is the race that has more functionality and burst. Elves, when they work all together, it's not like a single class. Then elves is the most mobile race we have, because Shadow Warrior can run and hit, which Archmates can do the same thing. Swordmaster with a two-handed can do a lot of stuff while moving. You are very mobile as race, the elves. And then you have dwarves, which is like the most defensive ones, because Iron Breakers need to get hit to get the skills out. And then you have Enges that barricade themselves defensively, turrets, landmines, and all that. The Rune Priest, if you don't attack him, he will heal massively. And then you got the Slayer that you need to balance out the damage from the defensiveness, you know. I think they all combine like that. I think they're like the toughest race on the other side, same as like Chaos on the other side. I think they're tougher. Anyways,
yeah, I mean,
go on.
The best way to, I mean, the best way to get better at the game is to play all of the other classes. And just understand what they can do, and that will make you a better player at your main class. Not just on your faction, but on the other faction too.
Yeah.
If you can play the enemy, it'll make you understand them better.
That's why I told you that I've deleted a lot of characters. I got a Magus to level 40, so I know what I'm talking about when comparing the two. I got a Shami, I got a Squeak, I deleted them. So I learned, and then, then because, like I said, I'm gonna get that compulsion in to go and play them.
Yeah.
So I don't want to. I don't want to do that. There's a grabber. That question is to me, but we're interviewing Arthem. I will answer that later on for you. For that question. Right, Arthem, I just took about 45 minutes of your time. I know it's about 2 o'clock in the morning now. I've kind of run out of questions. I think for my next interview, I'm going to write them down. But it was a nice chat. I'm going to give like a minute for if anybody wants to ask anything to Arthem. I'm just going to say here in closure that Arthem is streaming a lot more than I have. He usually plays his Shadow War, but other classes as well. So if anybody is into Shadow Warriors as a class, he's the guy to see when he's streaming. Definitely look him up on Twitch so you can see his schedule, because definitely I don't remember it. He mentioned it, but didn't write it down. Arthem, I think that's enough for the first interview. And I don't have any other questions, unless of course there's something you want to say or something you want to add or say to the viewers. We've got about 31 viewers at the moment. If there's anything you want to...
That's fine. It's been great. Thanks for having me, man.
No, thank you.
Next installment.
Yeah, thank you for participating. Be the first one. I'm gonna contact some other people I have in mind that I've spoken to them before about this. I hope you guys enjoyed this conversation. Thank you for being a part of it with your questions. Really appreciate it. And I'll try by Wednesday to see who's going to be the next guest for our next interview. So I'm going to stop the interview now and let Arthem go to sleep, because it's 2 o'clock in the morning in Australia and it's not fair for him. Thank you again, and I'll see you on your next stream then.
Okay, good night everyone. Have a good day.
Good night, Arthem. Thank you.